Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the sports stuff video. Today, we're talking about the New England Patriots and my offseason plan to get them back to the Super Bowl and hopefully this time actually win it. So if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the video. So New England Patriots, they're currently sitting at positive $43 million in cap space. That's a great number for a team that just went to the Super Bowl to really try and make something worthwhile. 2027 positive 103 and 2028 positive 241. So these next 2 years under Drake May's rookie contract, you know Drake May's a good quarterback. Now, how can we capitalize on it and build this roster around him right now, this offseason, to try and repeat for next year? First move we're going to be doing is trading for A.J. Brown. That's right, making the big trade for wide receiver 1. He had 78 receptions, 1,003 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year. He has been very vocal. He wants to be a Hall of Famer when he retires, and that's something that we're going to try and make him do. Now, A.J. Brown, you know, he's in an offense. It's not been a passing scheme. They've been very run heavy. Last year, obviously, when they won the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts did have a really good playoff run, but Saquon Barkley was the engine of that season, and A.J. Brown wants to be an engine of an offense. He won a Super Bowl and he was still unhappy. He said a week after the Super Bowl ended, he had a moment of awesome, and then he realized, wait a minute, I want more though. So he's gonna go to a new team where he can compete and produce. That's gonna be New England. We're gonna force feed him the ball. Not only does he get to go to the New England Patriots where he gets force fed the ball, he reunites with the head coach that not only drafted him, but did not want to trade him away. So AJ Brown is gonna go to New England, and the Philadelphia Eagles will get a first-round pick, number 31 overall. So they get a first-round pick for AJ Brown. They traded away a first-round pick to get him. They paid him, won a Super Bowl. So they basically recoup their value, and the New England Patriots get a 28-year-old star wide receiver 1. And with that trade, we'll also be giving him a new contract. Currently, he's on a 4-year. Let me pull it up. 4-year, 106.25-ish contract. The way they do their contracts in Philadelphia are very confusing. So I try to remake it as best as I can for the resources that I had. This is what it somewhat looks like. It's somewhere around 24, then 23 and a quarter, 28 and 7 and 3 quarters, and 30 and 1 quarter. Very confusing, but at minimum, it's only this year that's guaranteed. So we'll be trained for AJ Brown and giving him an extension, basically reigniting the power underneath him. Is, hey, we expect you to lead the league in receptions and yards and touchdowns. So we're gonna give you a massive pay raise from an average of about 25 million a year, all the way up to 34.75, I believe, just under 35 million. It's Justin Jefferson's money, basically. So it's Justin Jefferson money. He's at worst the 3rd highest paid wide receiver, and he's gonna get a massive up in productivity. So he's gonna get a 4-year, $139.5 million deal, 89.5 million guaranteed at 64%. So not only is he gonna be getting, I don't know, 10 targets a game, multiple games so he's gonna get over 100 yards, multiple games of multiple touchdowns. He's also getting paid about $35 million a year. So I hope that reinvigorates him, makes him want to play football. And again, the Patriots solve their number 1 need immediately, because in the first round, they might even go wide receiver already, but this allows them to immediately get that production and try and win a Super Bowl next season. Then the restructure, I'm going to restructure Milton Williams, who we signed last year, to a big-time 4-year, $100 million deal. We're going to restructure his deal, open up $13.5 million in cap space, meaning after the extension to A.J. Brown and the trade and the re-signing, we're at positive $55 million. So not only do we get A.J. Brown, we then immediately save $12 million in cap space this year. We do use, I don't know, about $20 million in cap space next year, but it's absolutely worth it to solve wide receiver 1 for the future immediately. Then the first re-sign I'm going to be doing is with Jalen Hawkins, the safety. Last year had 48 tackles, 4 interceptions, which was 4th in the NFL, 12 run stops, 2 sacks, which was 9th in the NFL at the safety position, and 2 pass breakups. He was very good at the beginning of his career in Atlanta. Unfortunately, you know, just multiple schemes, differences, multiple head coaches later. He's on the New England Patriots, and he did a fantastic job this year, becoming a whole different beast under Mike Vrabel. He attacks the ball carriers both in run defense and pass catchers and pass coverage. He hunts for contact. He's exactly the Vrabel safety that you're looking for. Physical guy. We're gonna give him a 2-year, $11.5 million deal, $6.5 million guaranteed at 56% to solve that need and not worry about it for the next year or 2. Next, we're gonna be re-signing is Jack Gibbons, linebacker. This year, he had 54 tackles, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 25 run stops, and 6 pressures. He's a situational linebacker. That's the key to a Vrabel defense, is that when guys go down, the next guy, it's next man up. He's a good run defender. He jumps lanes very well in the passing game, and he does have a home in a Mike Vrabel defense. He's very athletic. Again, Vrabel drafted him in Tennessee, signs him over to the Patriots this last year, has a really good year as a backup. I do think he's going to be returning to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Because again, it was situational. I think he likes Mike Vrabel. Obviously, he's a player's coach and players like playing for him. So I do think he'll be able to get him back for cheap. And hopefully Jack Gibbons can have an even bigger season next year. Maybe get somewhere like 70 or 80 tackles, more run stops, and then he'll be able to get a big deal next year. Next is Mike Onwenu. We're going to be reworking Onwenu's contract. Mike Onwenu last year had a 78 PFF grade, a 74 run blocking, 78 pass blocking, 3 penalties, and 2 sacks allowed. He had a couple rough seasons at tackle. Gerard Mayo and the last few years of Bill Belichick, they moved him out to left tackle. Just wasn't a good fit for him. Moves back in the guard, and it really becomes one of the best guards yet again in the NFL, like he was when he was first drafted. He used his size to his advantage. He's a great run blocker, and I want to make sure he's here for the long term. So currently, he's on a 1-year, $25 million deal with no guaranteed money. So I want to turn that, reinvigorate him as well into a 4-year, $80.5 million deal, $53.5 million guaranteed at 66%. So he gets a brand new extension, gets $50 million in brand new money, and he does keep his average, right? So he does drop from 25 million in the cap number down to 19, so he saves 6 million in cap right there. But at the same time, he gets that Quentin Nelson, Robert Hunt money, so he gets a pay raise, because he was currently averaging $16 million a year in his old contract. So we'll give him a pay raise to averaging 20.5 in his new contract, just above Quentin Nelson, the guard for the Colts. So he gets new money. The team gets him back for the next 4 years of Drake May, and kind of through his prime, he's going to be our left guard for the future. Next guy we're going to be extending is going to be Christian Gonzalez. We want to extend him right now. Last year, he had 57 tackles, 0 interceptions, 19 run stops, and 7 pass breakups. He had an underwhelming third season, but still a great corner. I definitely thought he'd take a bigger jump than he did under Mike Vrabel. But, I do think year 2, he'll get more comfortable in the system and get a little bit better. He does play his life, depends on it every play. Very physical, loves that contact. Again, another Mike Vrabel term I'm always going to be using is contact. That's Christian Gonzalez. So we're going to extend him right now, just in case if he does have a massive 4th year, then we don't have to worry about, oh crap, now he's even more expensive. Let's just get him on a good number. We're going to give him a 4-year, 4-year, $63.5 million deal, $43.5 million guaranteed at 68%. So you get him for just about, at $15 to $17 million a year range. So definitely a top tier corner that we want on our team, but we're not going to be paying him that $25 million deal, $1 million a year deal. He's not worth it. If he's asking for $20 million a year, you just got to let him walk. I'm sorry, I'm not paying Christian Gonzalez in his current form $20 million a year. I'm willing to touch that 15 to 18 million though range. That's where I'm comfortable. So give him a $20 million signing bonus, gets that $63.5 million of contracts. And again, the team gets a good deal. He gets a good deal because on his current production, he's just not worth the 20, but I'm absolutely worth extending him. So he's here for the long term. Next is going to be Demario Douglas. We're going to be extending Demario Douglas. Last year had 31 receptions, 447 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He plays much bigger than his 5'8 frame. If you guys watch Pop Douglas play, this dude is hitting dudes. He is playing the boundary. He's jumping up and catching balls midair. I'm shocked he's only 5'8. That is shocking to me. He has elite hands, and Drake can have a great connection. This is something that Drake May looks for on those quick conversions, trying to get a first down. So I want to get Demario Douglas extended on a 3-year, $21 million deal, $14 million guaranteed at 66% guaranteed with a $9 million signing bonus. Let's get this guy extended just so we know that he's going to be here for the future. Again, him and Drake have a good connection. Only $7 million average. That's something I'm willing to pay. The other guy we'll be extending is the other wide receiver in Kayshon Boutte. 33 receptions, 551 yards, and 6 touchdowns. This is the boundary receiver that works really well with Drake May. If you guys watch that Drake May's best throw of his career, that sideline catch, that was Kayshon Boutte. Great catch radius, great body movement. This is another Patriots wide receiver that's breaking out right now. I want to get him extended before he truly breaks out next year. He has a very solid group of guys, so Drake is important. So during his rookie contract, we can afford to have A.J. Brown, Kayshon Boutte, and Demario Douglas all extended. So that's why I'm taking advantage of it for the next 4 years, having these guys under contract. And then we'll talk about it in 2029 of, oh crap, who is going to be out. But I want to round up the room before adding a true wide receiver one. So Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Ethan Chisholm, Kyle Williams, and then add A.J. Brown. That's a great wide receiver core. He's going to get a 3-year, $21 million deal, $14 million guaranteed. The exact same deal I gave for Demario Douglas. I give the Kayshon Boutte. I think they're very similar players. They play different types, obviously. Like Kayshon Boutte's a boundary, bigger receiver. Demario Douglas is more the slot possession receiver. But I think they're both value at their position is about the same. So $7 million a year for both of them. Then the last guy I'm going to be restructuring is going to be Christian Barmore. I want to work his contract out and give him new guaranteed money. Last year, he had 20 tackles, 2 sacks, 13 run stops, 39 hurries, which was 4th at the D tackle position in the NFL, and 50 pressures, which was 9th at D tackle. He had a down year in his individual production, but he was a massive part of the D-line success overall. Him and Milton Williams ate up every single run lane up the middle, forced him to go on the outside, which let guys like Clavon Chason and Harold Landry have such good years. He's a great pressure generator from the interior. He's a good run stopper, and I do want him here for the long term next to Milton Williams. And on his current contract, it doesn't look like he's going to be here on the long term. And I want to reinvigorate with him and say, hey, you are going to be here for the long term. So we're going to go from a 3-year, $65 million deal with only $2 million guaranteed. We're going to rework into a 4-year, $79 million deal, $47 million guaranteed. So we're going to add on another year of his exact salary. As you can see, in his current contract, it goes from 17 to 23 to 24. We're going to basically say, hey, forget the 24. We're going to turn that 24 into an additional year instead of you getting paid that 24. So he gets a pay raise, technically, because he gets more money, and he gets more guaranteed money. So we add on a 4th year, make it $23 million. We lower that 2028 number down to $23 million. I think that's something that he'd be down to do. More guaranteed money, more security for his future, and the team can say, hey, you and Milton Williams are our D tackles of the future, and we can guarantee on you during Drake Maye's rookie contract. Next, we're in free agency. So that was a lot of re-signs and extensions on a team, right? I mean, you're able to, you go from $55 million in cap space all the way up to $63 million, and you're able to extend all your big guys. Now, you do go from $80 million and $195 in the next 2 years to $38 and $145. But the fact you can re-sign Jalen Hawkins, Jack Gibbons, Mike Amanu, Christian Gonzalez, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, and Christian Barmore are guaranteed here for the next 3 to 4 years. I think it's absolutely worth it to push that into the future and still have a lot of money for 2026 to try and go and win a Super Bowl right now. And the first big move to try and go win a Super Bowl right now is going to be Joey Bosa. So Joey Bosa last year had 22 tackles, 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, which was first at the edge position, 23 run stops, and 47 pressures. I want to get themselves a premier edge rusher. Now, last year, obviously only 5 sacks isn't great, but 23 run stops and 5 forced fumbles. This dude was constantly trying to strip the ball from guys, get his hands in the pockets. It just didn't really turn the sacks, but that's fine. Mike Vrabel is fine if you don't get a lot of sacks. If you can just impact the game in any way, that's what he wants. I mean, he doesn't need to be ultra healthy to contribute. You know, you have Harold Landry. Who else? It was Harold Landry. Anthony Jennings was another guy that they have. They're going to go through the draft as well. Joey Bosa does not need to be the number 1 edge rusher on this team. He needs to be a high-end, good role player at minimum for them. And it seems like a Mike Vrabel type of guy. You can do an incentive-laced deal as well. Maybe it's 9.5 minimum, up to 16 if he gets over 10 sacks. Do something like that to make it more incentivized for him to really go out and get sacks. But at minimum, I'm getting someone who can on the edge and cap this defensive line. Next up is Tito Ogbonia from the Los Angeles Chargers. Last year had 6 tackles, 0 sacks, 6 run stops, and 3 pressures. He was a depth nose tackle in LA. Last year he had 140 snaps total. He had 140 snaps this year. But last year in 2025, he had 25 tackles, 12 run stops, and 242 run stops. So this is someone, when he is playing, can be productive. So he's a shot in the dark on a possible starter at nose tackle for the future. So 1 year, $2.5 million to see if you can get anything out of him. Next, give me Amik Robertson at corner. Last year, he had 46 tackles, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, which were second at the corner position, 17 run stops, and 9 pass breakups. He plays all corner positions, right and left boundary and nickel, so he can fill in for an injury anywhere, and that's kind of why I'm signing him. He's not the best when he's a full-time starter. He did let up like 40 receptions this last year, which was top 10 at the corner position. So not the best full-time starter, but at worst is an okay run defender and an okay pass coverage in depth. So we can give him a 2-year, $13 million deal, $6.5 million guaranteed at 50%. The Patriots were relatively healthy last year, which you cannot bet on every single time you go out and strap up the pads. So this is like, hey, in case injuries do happen to us this year, unlike last year, we have Amik as something we can rely on in the secondary. Next is going to be Dylan Raduns, another former Tennessee guy coming over to the Patriots. This last year, he had 48 PFF 49 run blocking, 64 pass blocking, 8 penalties, and 1 sack allowed. He can play any position on the offensive line. He's played tackle, he's played guard, he's played center. Just a versatile dude. He is someone that Mike Vrabel would want to sign because Mike Vrabel likes to sign the guys that he has drafted before. He's a vet with a lot of starts everywhere. I don't think it's going to be hard to get. I think it's going to be very inexpensive. 1 year, $2 million to get a dude who has experience at all 5 positions. I'm willing to do that for $2 million. So in the draft, you're at positive $50.7 million. So you can still go out. You guys are going to see there's 2 positions where I feel like I could have added a little bit more depth through the draft. So you have $50.7 million. You can go out and get those positions upgraded. But we're going to talk about it once after the draft. I'll highlight those 2 positions I think it could have gotten a little bit more help. But in the draft, here's what I decided to go with. Boom. So, obviously, with the first round pick, we traded for A.J. Brown, so we don't have a first round pick. But at round 2, number 63, I'm going to grab linebacker Kyle Lewis from Pitt. He's a versatile linebacker. This team does need more linebacker help, especially for the future. And I think Kyle Lewis can be exactly that. He can play all over the defense. He had snaps at defensive line, slot, and stand-up linebacker. He's very fast, does everything right, but he's just so small. And that's kind of the issue, that he's a little bit smaller of a guy. He has fringe day 1 talent, but I don't think that's, will it convert to the NFL field because of his size? I don't know. But Mike Vrabel, I do think, as a former linebacker, will see the foundation to build on of Kyle Lewis and kind of overlook his size restraints. Then in round 3, number 95, I'm going to grab nose tackle Dante Corleone from Cincinnati. This is a starting level nose tackle right away, but if he is not ready, you have Tito Ogbonia for the last 4 years has had NFL body weight on him. So you don't need to start him right away, but it's going to be an open battle for nose tackle. Fantastic run stopper. He has good side-to-sideline speed to track down runners, and he doesn't need to develop into a pass rusher. Just do his job at nose, and I think this is something easily for 9 or 10 years being in the NFL. Then in round 4, number 125, I'm going to grab Malik Muhammad, a cornerback from Texas. He's 6 foot, 188, so he is on the thinner side, but it doesn't let him bring him down. He's 21 years old, very young, 2 interceptions last year. He's solid in both man and zone coverage, but zone, he definitely feels more comfortable, able to, kind of read what the quarterback is doing and try and jump the lanes. He can rotate out of zone in the run defense with ease. Gives some breathing room in the cornerback room as well. You have a very good cornerback depth of Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, Christian Gonzalez, Marcellus Dial, Amik Robinson, you decide. But Malik Muhammad gives you a little bit more feelers of cool, we have a young boundary corner that we can rely on in a pinch. Then in round 4, number 131, I'm going to have edge Max Llewellyn from Iowa. He's a solid edge guy for this room. He had a 17% win rate last year when rushing, which is, pretty good. Consistently, he's a 6 sack, 25 pressure guy. He had both those numbers the last 2 years. He's only 6'5", 260, and Mike Vrabel usually likes bigger edge rushers, but I do think he'll do the dirty work and clean up sacks, so I think it's someone that he's one to overlook that on. Then in round 5, number 169, I'm going to grab Eli Heidenreich from Navy, the fullback. All 32 teams were at the Navy Pro Day to look at both him and Landon Robinson at D tackle. Last year, he had 500 rush yards, 3 touchdowns with 6.5 yards per average, and 942 receiving yards. And the Patriots are one of the few teams to not only use fullback, but even roster a fullback. So I do think this is one of the teams that would draft him. He's 6 foot, 206. It makes a lot of sense for not only a need for the team, but also a scheme fit. Then in round 6, number 190, I'm going to grab Cole Brevard, D tackle from Texas. He's in and out of with injuries this year, so I do think he's going to drop down the board. This is easily a day 2 talent guy. He can play on either side of the center, whether it's A gap or B gap. 6'3", 350. He's a good run stopper, has some pass rush upside, but at worst is just a run stopper for you. He's more dart at the board and a reliable backup than I do think he's going to be taken over for Milton Williams or Christian Barmore. So again, Cole Brevard is absolutely just a depth guy, but in the 6th round, something you can actually rely on to be a depth guy is something that's worth it. Then in round 6, number 201, I'm going to have Tanner Kozel, tight end from Houston. Last year, he had 74 receptions, 727 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And over the last 2 years, he has 170 receptions, 1,500 yards, and 14 touchdowns combined. This last year, 20 contested catches at tight end, which was first in college football. He's 6'7", 250. In my opinion, if Tanner can improve as a run blocker, this could be a potential starter for the future in the 6th round. Great receiver, great after the catch. If he can just become a better run blocker at 6'7", 250, dude, this is basically a 6 offensive lineman you can have for every single down. So I definitely think that Tanner Kozel is going to end up somewhere. And if I'm Mike Vrabel, I'm running to put that ticket in. Then in round 6, number 208, I'm going to grab center Parker Brailsford from Alabama. He's an undersized center. He's 6'2", 290. Jared Wilson has already been announced to be moving in the center this season after they traded Garrett Bradbury. But if he isn't great this year. You could also slot him back to left guard, and Parker in 2027 could maybe start at center. But he's a solid all-around guy. Again, he's a 6th-round center. You can't really say much about him. Then in the 6th round, I'm going to take a shot on a athletic dude, and Lorenzo Styles Jr. from Ohio State. I do project him as a nickel corner. You already have Marcus Jones, so he's going to be a depth guy for now as that strong safety nickel hybrid. Plays zone coverage really well. He has great speed to jump routes. He had 7 coverage stops and 2 run stops with 22 tackles and 4 forced incompletions last year. Just so in the 6th round that due to his athleticism, can just play anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. Then, someone that I'm very excited to talk about is Jalen Walthall, wide receiver from Incarnate Word. Listen, I'm going to say it. I think this could be a draft steal. Someone that he's going to get drafted in the 7th round because someone's going to draft him. The team that I think is going to draft him is going to be the Patriots. Let me explain. He's 6'2", 180, who has returner ability and athleticism. The last 2 years, he has 2,200 yards, 155 receptions, and 22 touchdowns combined. He is top 100 wide receivers in college football in both deep and screen catches and yards. This team loves small school guys like Kyle Williams, like Efton Chisholm, and I do think Jalen was going to get drafted by someone. He's a good route runner. Just watch his tape. And the reason I say Efton Chisholm and why I think they're going to draft, why this team is the one to draft him. Who is in the division with Incarnate Word? Who's in the division? Eastern Washington, where Efton Chisholm came out of last year. So when they were scouting Efton Chisholm and they were, watching his games, I'm telling you, they absolutely watched Jalen Walthall play. And last year alone, he had 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns. His best year in college was the year that the Patriots watched Efton Chisholm tape. They absolutely saw Jalen Walthall and marked him as someone they want to draft. So this team specifically, I do think will draft Jalen because they watched him play while scouting Efton Chisholm. So I'm going to grab him in the 7th round to be a boundary wide receiver and a possible returner for us. So this is my projected depth chart. At quarterback, Drake May, Josh Dobbs, Tommy DeVito. At running back, Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, Eli Heidenreich. At tight end, Hunter Henry, CJ Dupree, Tanner Kozel. Again, this is what, so I'm going to say right here, one of the positions I would have added another veteran in is running back. Whether it's someone on the 3rd down, like a Antonio Gibson who they had last year, another dude can be a pass catcher for them. So that is my fault. I wish I would have added another running back who was a veteran. Just imagine, I don't know, Samaje Perine at running back. I don't care. Then a wide receiver, AJ Brown, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte with Kyle Williams, Efton Chisholm, Mac Hollins, and Jalen Walthall. That's a great wide receiver 7-man group. They do everything: possession, slot, boundary, depth, deep threat. I love it. At offensive line, another position I would have improved. At left tackle, Will Campbell, Ben Brown, Jared Wilson, Mike Onwenu, and Morgan Moses. If I am the Patriots, Taylor Decker was just cut from the Detroit Lions. If I'm the Patriots, I'm going to sign Taylor Decker, and I'm moving Will Campbell to left guard. So I was a big firm believer in Will Campbell at left tackle coming out of last year's draft, but he just is too slow and his arms are too small to stop edge rushers, and they know it and they take advantage of it. I want Will Campbell to be successful, but in that playoff run for the Patriots, he was the weakest link. Him and Jared Wilson were the weakest links on this offensive line, and they were the 2 rookies. So I do worry about that for the future. So if I am thinking in the past and I'm willing to make unpopular moves, I'm signing Tyler Decker at left tackle. I'm moving Will Campbell to left guard. Then you have Jared Wilson, Mike Onwenu, and Morgan Moses. That's just me, though. So offensively, I love it. I think you upgrade massive at wide receiver. It helps Drake May. Running back, you grab a fullback running back hybrid who's really good for you. A tight end who could be a 6-man in the offensive line if he develops. I like it. Then on the defensive side of the ball, you have Milton Williams, Otito Ogbonia, and Christian Barmore with Joshua Farmer, Dante Corleone, Eric Gregory, Cole Brevin, and Corey Durden as your backups. So I love the starting group. Again, Dante Corleone and Otito Ogbonia would walk into a day 1 competition. You add Cole Brevin to that D-tackle room as that high-end run stopper that you can really build around. Then at edge, you got Anthony Jennings, Joey Bosa, Harold Landry, Elijah Ponder, Max Llewellyn, and Braden Swinson. Mike Vrabel's never been a really big premier number 1 edge rusher, like someone who is a top 5 sack guy every year. He's definitely more of a by rotation. Everyone has 7 to 10 sacks, and then as a team with top 5. So, Joey Bosa, you throw him into that room. You still have Harold Landry and Anthony Jennings. You leave Clavon Chase on. You replace him with Max Llewellyn. That's why I think that room would end up going. I just don't see them landing a massive big-time edge. I think they're going to want to draft and develop someone. Then at linebacker, Robert Spillane, Christian Ellis return as your starters with Marte Mapu, Jelani Tavai, Kyle Lewis, and Chad Muma. At corner, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, Christian Gonzalez, no changes, with Marcus Dial, Amik Robertson, Malik Muhammad, and Charles Woods. At safety, Craig Woodson, Jalen Hawkins, they return with Del Pettis, Brendan Schooler, and Lorenzo Styles. I like this defense. Honestly, Joey Bosa is the biggest name you added, but I think nose tackle is very important for them. The fact that you can add on a Tito Ogbonia and a Dante Corleone is a big-time deal to their run defense. So I really like this depth chart. I think it's the top 5 depth chart in the NFL on paper. Honestly, adding AJ Brown to that wide receiver room, adding Jalen Walthall, and extending your 2 starters is really important. Running back, Trayvon Henderson becomes a full-time starter. Offensive line, everyone's 1 year better. So I really like it. Let me know in the comments down below how many wins you guys think this team could get. I think if they have a, even an average schedule, this is a 13-win team easily. So if you guys enjoyed, put a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.